Man United 3, Newcastle United 1. Weird game. Weird game. Didn't feel like it was going to be a 3-1 game. I did predict a 3-1 actually, to be fair, but I didn't feel like it was going to be. And Solskjaer was brave to make the changes that he made, although a lot of them were forced upon him. And I think that early on, I just think the combinations that we were seeing, especially in the central midfield, didn't work. I looked at the Fred and Matic situation and I just couldn't help but think, like, when's McTominay back? When's Pogba back? Because I don't think that's going to be sustainable. Fred had a poor game, wasn't at the races. I know people are getting onto Maguire for the header, but again, naive defending as a team because at maximum was this clear, open. Newcastle actually came and pressed us first 20 minutes, which, to be fair, Ollie planned for that. Ollie said in his pre-match comments, I don't think Newcastle are going to sit in. You look at their last 4 games, they've kind of not turned the corner because there's 2 wins and 2 losses, but he was saying that basically they're playing in a different way. And if you get caught cold out and you're not ready for it, they'll catch you out. And it was almost like he didn't tell our players that. Do you know what I mean? And that, for me, is worrying. Because I looked at the game today, and the first half especially, don't know what you guys felt, but it just felt like we're going back to the old Man United. And I suppose it's probably a lot of it's frustration in the moment, but the system and the style of play, we had to rely on the individual brilliance again to get us out of trouble today. You know, when Marcus Rashford scored, and I thought he was bright today, I thought he was quite good. And the keeper probably should have saved his shot as well. There just wasn't really anything happening. You know, we were lethargic, we were predictable. The midfield too, I've got to talk about because a lot of people kind of, might call for Matic to start and stuff like that, especially alongside Fred. And it just didn't work for large parts. I just think there's no creativity from that area. Fred's passing radar today, I mean, I know that's one of his deficiencies in his game along with shooting. But my God, his passing really was bad today. It really was bad today. Every other pass was hands in the air. I'm sorry. And it was a disappointing performance, but it was a massive result. And I think it's kind of the sort of performance that we've just been seeing, even in the games where we were winning like this for a while, which got us to like the top of the league at the time. The performances were never great. You know what I mean? And I think what we've saw in the last 6 Premier League games is the fact that we can maybe keep getting away with it when the results are good. But as soon as the results goes or the goals dry up in them moments, the performances get exposed. And I think that's what's starting to happen. The performances are being exposed because Newcastle, it was an even game for a long time. It was an even game for a long time. And when we've been playing against teams down the bottom end of the table, it just shows you, one, yes, how hard they're fighting and why it's never an easy game. But 2, it shows you maybe how far off we are of where we want to be. I don't think we dictate the pace of games. I don't think we dictate the direction of the game. We don't control where we want it to be, play at the pace that we want to play at. I think we rely off the individuals to make something happen. And on the flip side of that, look, the whole reason we bought Bruno, the whole reason we have Marcus Rashford and have so much trust in him, and it's because you want your good players to do magical things. I get that. But it's not sustainable. And I do understand that. And that for me is a worry that the style of play isn't coming along. It isn't coming along. We're ticking along, but the style of play isn't actually improving that much. Martial. We have to talk about Martial in an honest way and say it as it is. They asked me on the fan forum, if the right money came in for Tony and Fred, would you sell both of them? And I said, for the right players. If you're telling me we can go and buy someone better than Martial, I would cash in. I wouldn't look to sell him for a player who's not better because that just doesn't make sense. But I'd rather keep him and you know what I'm saying, try and get him into form. But he's in bad form right now. And I get you can't label everything at his door as to why we played badly today. We know what happens in terms of how we don't create chances and, we're not the best at supplying a striker. I get all of that. But I had to kind of take a step back. As much as I love Tony, is he doing enough? I don't mean just working hard enough. I mean just his all-round game. He's not. You've got to be really honest about that. You've got to be really, really honest about that. He's not doing enough right now. And it is like a back to the drawing board for Tony. I think he's in a really difficult moment. He knows he's not playing too well. And it was the right thing to hook him. It was the right thing. Rashford was being impactful on the left-hand side. Dan James was being impactful, who I'll get onto in a minute. And, you know, Mason came on and looked lively. I'm not going to say he was leaps and bounds above Martial, but sometimes there's this misconception that if a sub comes on and didn't do much better, it means that the sub wasn't justified. But then when the game's ticking on, just because you don't know if the player coming on is going to be better than what you're seeing, that doesn't mean you shouldn't try and change what you're seeing. Do you know what I'm saying? We weren't getting anything out of Martial, so we need to try and change it, you know? Hopefully Mason comes on and has the impact, or we might not, but you have to try and change it. I don't agree with that whole looking back if the sub wasn't as good as the player who started and saying, oh, well, so-and-so came on and they were crap as well. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that the other person should have been able to stay on playing like that. You've got to try and impact change, and I think that was the right decision. So I think Tony's an interesting one because with Cavani injured as well, he's probably got to play unless you put Martial up front, Rashford up front or Greenwood up front. We'll see what goes on there. But Dan James, you know what? I said it on the fan forum. We got this thing where it's kind of fashionable to kind of just think Dan James is crap, or, you know, and I know there's a lot of flaws in his game of things why he's not up to a certain level. But you have to be honest, there's things in his game that are valuable that we've seen in the last couple of games. And I actually like the fact that Ollie playing him is paying off. I think second half, I think he was good. I think he made good decisions. I think he was most of all effective. Regardless if you don't really like the way he plays or whatever, he's effective at what he does. Gets the goal at a crucial moment as well. It's 1-1. He gets a big goal, an important goal to put us 2-1 up. And then he was a pest, a pain in the ass. It gave Jamal some problems, especially second half. I thought first half, he was quite predictable, but you know what you're getting with Dan James. You do get a lot of safety first and then making the right decisions. I do appreciate that, but you do need more than that to really kick on. We need more than just safe passes or just doing the minimum or just getting by. You know, we need more than that. But on what I saw today, you got to big up Dan James. You have to. I think he was energetic. He used his pace well. He finished well today, and he was trying to flash in some crosses and do his thing. Maybe we should get a little run in the team, you know, just because it's unpopular, or you know, until it starts going wrong, give him his flowers. He's playing well, you know, against Chelsea, counter attack. Why not? You know, might be against Alonso, left wing back. Go past him. He's done it before. He's played in the big games before. We shall see. Or do you just go, right, Dan James, you play again in the Europa League, which I do think that's the right thing to do. Go again in the Europa League. I want to see wholesale changes for that. 4-0 up. Diallo. Dan James, hopefully Van der Beek's fit. If Cavani's fit, give him a game to get him back to speed. But what is a big concern for me is the midfield too, because the longer we go about Scott McTominay in there, and I know Pogba's a little bit more long term, I think that could be a really big issue, especially going into City and Chelsea. I don't fancy going into City and Chelsea with Matic and Fred. I really don't. I don't think they'll keep the ball well enough. I don't think it's mobile enough. And it doesn't have any creativity there. I think it'll be a real struggle to get 2 positive results against Chelsea and Man City without McTominay. And people might say, oh, what do you mean? What do you mean? But McTominay's proving his worth at the moment. And until we go and invest in that area again and step it up, he needs to play. He needs to play. And obviously we know about missing Pogba. The Maguire situation with the header, listen, he could have had a better header. I understand that he could have had a better header. But for me, I'm like, where's the marking? Like, St. Maximin's just on his ones. Like, where's the accountability here? Like, collectively as a team, we don't defend set pieces well. It's a calamity of errors. The first one, the ball comes out for the short corner. Nobody's there. You know, I think Bruno's late getting out there. The cross comes in. Harry Maguire, to be fair, with how quickly the cross comes in, he can't really approach the ball any different way. And then he finds himself in a position where he can only kind of head it back. He probably could have put it out for a corner instead, though. I agree with that. But once he's done that to kind of get the ball out of the immediate danger area, you need help from your teammates, guys. Come on, man. You need help from your teammates. You had Fred, who was nowhere near St. Maximum, and you had Martial, who was closer to Matic, who was already marking someone not near St. Maximum. So those two got to be held accountable for that as well. So, but look, biggest thing is the 3 points. I think is mad interesting because with Leicester not slowing down, with West Ham not slowing down, and with Liverpool losing and Chelsea slipping up 2 points, we've got to just keep getting results. We don't want to get drawn into that top 4 scrap. You know, we want to try and get a little bit of daylight there. And hopefully we can do that and try and cement second, because like I said, Leicester ain't going anywhere. They got Arsenal next, I believe. We got Chelsea next. It's tough games all over the place. So man of the match, Luke Shaw again, solid. I could have even given it to Dan James or Rashford. He had a hand in it. Bruno again does what he does, goal and assist. Although the assist was very contentious. Came off his toe, went through Jamal's legs. It's an assist, mate, you know what I'm saying? But when I look at the fronts, up front, I think it's an issue. It is an issue, and you can't just give Martial an easy ride. I don't think you can. He's not doing enough right now. We're not getting enough out of him. He's not in good form, and it needs to be looked at. It needs to be looked at. And Varney's out of the team, so the goals are drying up in that area. But Rashford is continuing to deliver. And hopefully Greenwood can play himself into form. And Dan James might be coming to form just at the right time, just to help out, actually, with a few injuries. So big up to him. Roll on Ahmad on Thursday. Better be starting, surely. 4-0 up, Ollie. Start the kid. And Shola. We'll call him Shola. Great to see him, you know, come and get his debut. And maybe we can see some of him in the Europa League as well later on. You know what I mean? If we're a couple of goals up and it's 5-6 nil on aggregate, bring him on. That's what I'm saying. Bring him on. But my man of the match was Luke Shaw, followed by Dan James, followed by Rashford, followed by... That's pretty much it. Roll on Thursday. I'm out of it.